Hi friends, Em here. Today we're going to be setting up 4 different types of spreads to help you stay on top of your wellness journey, anywhere between habit tracking, miles tracking, sleep tracking, and meal prep. We're going to start out with our monthly spread. So this is dual purpose, right? You can use this just to look at your month, right? All of your appointments and all of the things that you want to get done. But we're also going to add a habit tracking key on the side. So for things I put on here as an example, exercise, vitamins, water, you could have really anything on there, right? You could also use this key as sort of a way to also color coordinate your events, right? So appointments could be one color, social events could be another. It's totally up to you and super flexible. I know that for me, I can't keep up with multiple spreads. So being able to combine them into one, so I only have to look at one thing, I only need to track on one spread, is just amazing. I'm also using the Archer and Olive stickers from the Sarah Cray collab to kind of just zhuzh up the spread, and then I'm also using coordinating calligraphs to just add a little extra color to the spread. Also, because it's me, I'm just adding some hand-lettered month titles and then habit tracker. You could totally use stamps or stickers or even just print out a font that you really like and then tape it in. This is totally all customizable. So you can personalize what habits you're wanting to prioritize. I know for me, this month, one of the habits that I really want to focus on is lighting a candle every night. Partially because I have too many candles, but also because it's just a really great element of self-care for me. You also might want to include stretching or maybe dining in rather than dining out. These are all examples of habits that you can track pretty easily, but also have room for tracking any appointments or monthly tasks that happen throughout the month. Also, you can use this key, right, that I'm putting down, either as just dots, right? You could just have the dot to denote, oh yeah, I exercised this day. Or you can go into more detail and you can write the actual type of exercise or how long you exercised or really anything. The only real thing I would recommend is that if you're using certain colors for habits, use different colors for your events and appointments. That's just kind of how it works in my brain, just sort of compartmentalizing everything into what goes where, right? But if you want to do the entire thing in one color, you could also do that. It's totally up to you. You could use maybe in the dots, you could put like E for exercise or something like that instead. And I just filled this in with some examples, but let's move on. So something that I do track in my own journal is mileage. So this doesn't have to necessarily be going for a run. I know we're not all runners here, but it could just be how much you move on a daily basis. Maybe you go for walks or you enjoy riding a bike, right? Those are all things that you could track here. So I have a smartwatch that keeps track of all that for me. So at the end of the day, I can just check an app and it'll tell me. The downside is, of course, that it does not track any cycling mileage, so I'd have to add that on manually. But all that we're doing is we're just making a horizontal tracker. So on the vertical axis, I'm a mathematician, this is just how I do. On the vertical axis, we're going to have the days, and on the horizontal axis, we are going to have the number of miles. So I've spaced these out by 4s, just because then it's really easy to mark a quarter mile. But you could space them out as much as you want. If you wanted them to be 10s, right, I'd recommend maybe using the other axis or using the entire page instead. And then all you do once you have your day is for that day, you color in. This is my favorite part, the coloring. You can just draw a little swipe with a calligraph all the way up to the point where you stopped, right? So if you went 3 miles, you would just go all the way up to the little 3 mark. And again, these are just examples. I have definitely not walked 6 miles anytime recently, but that's sort of, you get this really cute graph at the end of it, which I really enjoy. And it's really just nice being able to see your progress throughout the month. So whether you're adding it all up to get a total mileage or just looking back and seeing how far you've come, I think that this is a really great spread for that. Next, we are moving into a sleep tracker. All right, sleep is so important. It's how your body rests and recovers. And if you're not sleeping well, it's gonna be a rough go for you. So across the top, we're putting the hours. I started at 9 p.m. because usually I'm not asleep until after 9. But if you work night shifts or you go to bed at 7 p.m., you can totally shift this. Then I went hour by hour all the way up until I think 9 as well. So I have a 12-hour sort of shift bar here. And again, we're just going to use a swipe of a calligraph to denote from where we went to sleep to when we woke up. So again, having some kind of smartwatch for this is helpful because it's able to track when you actually fell asleep versus when you turned the light off, right? And off to the side, you could also track your sort of sleep quality. Again, smartwatches will provide that for you. Or you could just track how you felt when you woke up with just like a cute little smiley face or a sad face or really exhausted face. That's me. I usually wake up so tired. And then, yeah, we're just going to add on a few more of these Sarah Cray stickers to make it cohesive. And just because they're really pretty. I definitely find myself not wanting to use a spread if it's not pretty. So next, we're going to move into something that I really love, which is meal prep. So on the right-hand side, we're going to create a Dutch door by cutting off basically half the page. And this is going to allow us to have a visible grocery list and recipe ideas all in the same place. And then on the Dutch door itself, we'll be flipping between the weeks. So you can have your entire month of meal planning and meal prep in one place, which I think is just awesome. So meal prep is kind of intimidating at first, if I'm being honest. And my husband is the one who does most of it. But it definitely gets easier as you go along because you are able to estimate how long each meal is going to take to prepare. So that's what I'm doing here on the left-hand page. I'm breaking it down into things that are super easy to make, things that you can do on a weeknight, right? And by that I mean it takes like 30 minutes to an hour to do the entire thing, because sometimes on those recipe websites they say that you can do this in a weeknight or that it's one pan and really you're going to end up doing dishes for 5 hours. Then I have weekend, right, which is something that might take 2 to 3 hours, and then worth it. So for those, that's going to be sort of the thing where we end up smoking some meat for 16 hours, right? Where, we cannot do that in 30 minutes. It's impossible, but it's worth it in the end. So with all of those recipes on the left-hand side, then it's going to make it super easy for you to pick and choose based on how much time you have each week, what you want to make. Because that's a huge part, is that it's really hard to meal prep if you don't have a meal plan. On the right-hand side, I'm setting up a removable grocery list so that you could take it to the store. You can totally also use a sticky note here. Just being able to have your grocery list right next to where you're planning your meals and then being able to take it to the store is a game changer. We use Notion usually just because we can add to it immediately on our phones, but analog is also really great. And this sort of monthly spread will get easier and also more detailed as you make it again and again, because you'll have a list of recipes that you really love and you can swap them out based on what's in season or if there are any sort of dietary constraints that you need for a certain month. Also adding for week 1 a little BLDS, which just stands for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. Usually I also add a little dessert on the bottom there, but I ran out of room, so that would be a snack. And so this is a way for you to figure out what you're eating for breakfast, right? And then you could add the associated ingredients that you need to buy on your grocery list. So I made a sample. I don't want to call it a menu because I definitely ran out of space a little bit, but where we have breakfast, lunch, and then we have 3 different dinners and a bunch of snacks. So we're in pear season right now. So we've been eating a ton of pears and we've been loving all of the almonds as well. But here is the final flip through. I hope you check out the blog post associated with this, as well as the free printable that will have a lot of these spreads pre-created for you. I hope that you're able to incorporate these into your wellness journey and that maybe you leave today with, an idea or two. Thanks for watching.